Phelps here from Freedom Founders. As I have a chance to engage with other dentists of all ages, all points in their career, younger docs, mid-range, and dentists who are trying to exit their practice, I hear the same story, and that is, they wish they could, get out sooner. In fact, many of the young ones today I see are adamant about looking for other investments and other businesses to get involved in. Why? Because ultimately everybody wants freedom. Now, dentistry can provide a really substantial, nice lifestyle as long as you're working. That's the problem. You have to be working. And of course, we know what's happening in the industry today. We have the marginalization, the commoditization of dentistry by corporate clinics, the consolidation, and we have managed care, insurance, which is decreasing margins. All that is a negative factor. Now, if you're a dentist right now, and even if you're a dentist that has a lot of debt, don't feel badly. You can make this happen, but you've got to have a blueprint. If you want to make a change and really have freedom in your life, you've got to have a blueprint. You've got to have a roadmap. You can't just dig your head in the sand and just hope for the best. And it doesn't really do you any good if you are just going after bright, shiny objects out there, other investments, other opportunities, because people are going to fill your head with that stuff. And I'm going to tell you something. Unless you really understand what you're doing, most of that stuff you're going to end up taking a nosedive with, and it's going to set you back. You have to focus first and foremost on what you do best. And if right now that's doing dentistry, clinical dentistry, and you don't just hate it, then focus on it. What I found out in my own life story is that having a plan B is critical. Now, my plan B, I did that in real estate. Fortunately, I found mentors in my life. I was a seeker. I was always looking to have a plan B, even though I didn't call it that back when I was in college and in dental school. I knew I needed a plan B because I knew, what if something happened and I couldn't always practice? And so I found real estate. And I'll say today that was the best thing I ever did in my life, because it wasn't just the real estate as the vehicle. Yeah, it's an amazing asset class vehicle. Does it take work? Does it take time? Yeah. Does it take a network? That's the most important thing, because the people I found in my life that were really good at real estate were entrepreneurs. See, they had a mindset that was different than what I had grown up with. And I'm not saying what I grew up with was bad. It was just very traditional, very much go to school, get the highest degree possible, go into a profession, a career that you can stay with for 30 years. See, I don't believe that needs to be the case anymore. In fact, it shouldn't be the case. You should have a life that goes in phases, and you might start out as one thing in life, but transitioning and evolving, looking for additional opportunities, finding things that you really love to do in life, that's the key. And even though I became a very good dentist, it wasn't the key to my freedom. And I needed that time with my family, with my daughter who was very, very sick. Some 12, 14, 15 years ago, I needed that freedom. Fortunately, real estate provided that for me. But the key thing is the people that I got to surround myself with, who are very, very capitalist, very much entrepreneurs, that changed the way I thought about everything I did in my life and gave me the permission to let go of something that served me well, a dental practice for a number of years. But then I could go on to the next thing, and I love what I get to do today, because I get to agitate other people's lives, right? In a good way. I like to help people find the truth, and people to quit lying to themselves about why they do what they do today, because they want to say they love it. No. When I see it out there, most of you don't love what you do every day. At least you don't love about 80% of it. Maybe there's pieces of what you do that you like, but most of it you don't like. What good is it to have a life like that? What good is all the money in the world if you don't like getting up and going to do what you do every day? You got to change it. How are you going to change it? Well, not by some wild investment scam or some Bitcoin cryptocurrency stuff. That's not going to do it. Quit dreaming and take some action. Look, I'm not here to sell you on anything except just to change your mind. I have a mastermind. It's Freedom Founders. And yes, it is high caliber people where we change the mindset. We change the thinking. Yes, real estate's a big part of what we do. But it's not just real estate. It's changing the way you think about your life. And until you do that, none of this other stuff's going to make any difference at all. So connect with me. Follow me. There's different ways you can connect. I do webinars to the public. We have a Freedom Founders Facebook community. We've got a book, From High Income to High Net Worth. If you want to come to a mastermind, there's an application process, but if you're the right person as a possible fit, we'd be glad to invite you there. I even have a fast action for those people who have a practice that's already running well, but they still want that plan B in real estate. Fast access action plan to do that. So find a way to connect. But remember, you've got to surround yourself with the right kind of people before you can make anything move in the next direction. To be transformative about your life and not just always transactional. That's one of the keys. So remember, always stay focused on your freedom. Hope to hear from you soon. I'll see you next time.